Your doctor has been failing you, not out of cruelty, not out of incompetence, but because there are conversations that medicine has been too uncomfortable to have with older men. Conversations that directly affect your prostate, your hormones, your heart, your sleep, and your sense of yourself. And that silence is costing men their health, their confidence, and years of quality life. I'm done being quiet about it. Here is something most men over 60 have never been told. The way you have been thinking about self-pleasure, whether to feel ashamed of it, whether to stop it entirely, whether it even belongs in your life anymore, may be one of the most medically significant decisions you are making right now. And most men are getting it wrong, not because they're careless, but because nobody ever gave them the truth. Today, that changes. I'm going to share 7 things that older men wish someone had told them decades ago. Things that will change how you understand your prostate, your hormones, your brain, and your body's ability to stay vital well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. Before we go 1 second further, if you believe men deserve honest, shame-free health conversations, hit that like button right now. Subscribe to this channel and drop a comment telling me your age. I read every single one. My name is Dr. Christian Marvin, a urologist with over a decade of experience specializing in men's health. I've sat with men in their 60s, 70s, 80s, men who came in not because something was medically broken, but because no one had ever just talked to them directly without embarrassment about what their body is going through and what it still needs. This is that conversation. Stay until the end because Secret 4 contains a clinical fact about the male body that most doctors never mention, and it may be the most important thing you hear today. Secret number 1. The way most men have been doing this for decades is quietly damaging their sensitivity, and almost nobody talks about it. Let me ask you something personal. When was the last time self-pleasure felt genuinely good? Not just functional, not just a habit, actually good, present, connected, alive. For most men, the honest answer is, it's been a while. I had a patient, I'll call him George, 71 years old, sharp, healthy, active. He said, "Doc, I can still finish, but I feel almost nothing anymore. It's like my body is going through the motions, but nobody's home." George wasn't broken, but his nervous system had been trained wrong for 30 years. Here is what happens biologically when self-pleasure becomes purely mechanical. Same technique, same pressure, same rushed goal. The brain locks in that pattern as the only reliable pathway to response. Over time, sensitivity drops. Nerve endings that respond to lighter, natural touch become underactive. Your body starts needing more stimulation just to feel the same thing because it has been conditioned to expect only one specific input. This is called desensitization. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens over years, quietly, until one day a man realizes he feels less than he used to and assumes it's just age. It isn't just age, and it isn't permanent. The emotional cost runs deeper than most men admit. Feeling disconnected from your own body ripples into confidence, into how present you feel with a partner, into how alive you feel in your own skin. The recovery is simpler than you'd expect. Slow down. Remove the goal of speed or outcome. Return to sensation. Your nervous system can retrain at 65, at 72, at 78. But the men who stopped entirely, thinking they were being sensible, may be doing even more damage. And that's secret 2. Secret number 2. Stopping completely is not the safe option. Your prostate is paying the price right now. Think about a pressure cooker. Heat and steam keep building with no release valve. Eventually, something gives. Your prostate works on a similar principle. I had a patient named Raymond, 68 years old, waking up 4 times a night to urinate. Persistent pelvic pressure, a dull ache that never went away. 2 other doctors told him it was just normal aging. When I asked about his sexual activity, he went quiet, then said, "I figured at my age that part of life was supposed to be finished." Here's what Raymond didn't know, and what I suspect your doctor has never told you. Your prostate produces fluid continuously, regardless of your age or activity level. When that fluid isn't regularly released, it accumulates. That buildup leads to prostate congestion, inflammation, pressure, and the exact symptoms Raymond was describing: frequent urination, pelvic discomfort, disrupted sleep, chronic aching. Research in peer-reviewed urology literature shows that men who maintain regular ejaculation, including through self-pleasure, have significantly lower rates of prostate inflammation than sexually inactive men. Your prostate is not a passive organ in retirement. It functions better with regular circulation and release. After Raymond made gradual changes, not driven by desire but by care for his own body, his symptoms eased within weeks. 3 months later, he said, "I feel 20 years younger. I didn't know that was the missing piece. You wouldn't let your heart go without exercise because you thought you were too old to care for it. Your prostate deserves the same respect." And now the shame you were taught, it isn't just emotional weight, it is physically harming your body right now. Secret number 3, the shame you were handed as a boy is a health hazard, and carrying it into old age is making you sick. Think back to the first time you felt ashamed of your body's natural drives. How old were you? 10? 12? And how many decades have you been carrying that silently? I see it every week. Men in their 70s who still lower their voice when this topic comes up, who look at the floor, who apologize for having a body that works the way bodies work. Strong, capable, dignified men who were handed a lie in childhood that their natural biology was something to be ashamed of and who have been paying for that lie ever since. Here is what that shame is doing to you medically. Shame is not just an emotion, it is a physiological state. Chronic shame keeps your nervous system locked in a low-grade stress response. Cortisol stays elevated, blood pressure climbs, sleep becomes shallow. Over years, that biological stress contributes to cardiovascular strain, immune dysfunction, and accelerated cognitive aging. Meanwhile, healthy sexual activity, including mindful self-pleasure, triggers the release of dopamine, oxytocin, and endorphins. These neurochemicals lower blood pressure, reduce systemic inflammation, regulate mood, and improve deep sleep. They are your body's own pharmacy, and shame is the thing keeping the pharmacy locked. I had a patient, a 74-year-old widower, who hadn't engaged with his own body in over a decade. He said, "I feel dim, doc, like the lights are turned down." We worked slowly, not with medication, but with honest conversation and the gradual release of shame he'd carried since boyhood. A few months later, he called and said, "I laugh now. I actually laugh. I didn't realize how long it had been. The lights came back on. You are never too old to inhabit your body with kindness." Before we go further, if what I'm sharing is opening something up for you, subscribe right now. This is exactly the kind of conversation I have every week on this channel. Honest, science-based, no shame, no judgment. You deserve that. Hit subscribe and let's keep going. Secret number 4, the bombshell. Here's the clinical fact about your body that almost no doctor ever mentions, and it changes everything. I need you to stop for a moment. What I'm about to tell you is something I've shared with hundreds of men in my clinic, and almost every single one looks at me with the same expression, somewhere between disbelief and relief. Are you ready? Orgasm and erection are two completely separate biological systems. They are not the same thing. They do not depend on each other. The ability to experience orgasm, the neurological event, the full body release, does not require an erection. These are controlled by different nerve pathways, different physiological mechanisms, different parts of the brain entirely. Most men over 60 do not know this. They believe that because their erections have become less reliable, which is completely normal, affecting the majority of men in their 60s and 70s, the entire chapter is closed. It is not closed. That experience is available to most men right now, regardless of erectile function. This one piece of information has changed more lives in my practice than almost anything else I've told a patient. Men who had written off an entire dimension of their health, not because their body couldn't participate, but because no one had ever explained how their body actually works. And now sexual inactivity directly impacts testosterone in ways that go far beyond the bedroom. What happens when that system goes quiet is not what most men expect. Secret number 5. When you disengage from your sexual energy, your body interprets it as a signal and starts shutting systems down. Your body is the most efficient system ever designed. Whatever you stop using, it begins to decommission. When you disengage from your sexual energy entirely, your brain receives what I call the retirement signal. This system is no longer in active use. In response, the hypothalamus reduces its output of the hormones that drive testosterone production, slowly over months and years until a man who was once vital finds himself feeling flat, unmotivated, soft around the edges, and assumes it's just age. It is not just age. I treated a patient I'll call Thomas, 73 years old, retired, fit, sharp, but he told me, "I used to care about things. I used to get fired up. Now I just watch other people live. His testosterone was well below optimal range. He'd simply assumed that part of life was over. We worked together. Lifestyle first, sleep, movement, nutrition, and intentionally re-engaging with his own body. Several months later, he said, I showed back up. I don't know how else to describe it. I just showed back up. Sexual energy in older men is not vanity. It is one of the biological signals that tells your body, this man is still alive and engaged. Withdraw that signal and your body responds accordingly. Secret number 6. Use it or lose it is not a motivational phrase. It is a physiological law, and the clock is running. If you stopped walking completely for 2 years, what would happen to your legs? Muscles would atrophy, circulation would weaken, joints would stiffen. Getting back to full function would be difficult, in some cases incomplete. The same law applies to male sexual function. And I say law deliberately. In medicine, this is not debated. Regular erections, whether through intimacy or self-pleasure, do specific, measurable physical work. Each one floods penile tissue with oxygenated blood, keeps smooth muscle elastic, and maintains the responsiveness of blood vessels and nerve pathways the entire system depends on. Without regular circulation, tissue changes, blood vessels become less responsive, nerve sensitivity decreases. Some of those changes, if allowed to progress over years, are not fully reversible. Regular engagement is maintenance. It is preventive medicine. Treat it with the same seriousness you'd treat your blood pressure or your cholesterol because physiologically, it belongs in the same category. Secret number 7. Done with intention and presence. This is one of the most powerful health practices available to older men, and science can prove it. What would you say if I told you that mindful self-pleasure, slow, present, without pressure or shame, produces measurable changes in your cardiovascular system, your immune function, your inflammatory markers, and your neurological health? You would probably say, why didn't anyone tell me this sooner? Here is what happens in your body. Breathing slows and deepens, activating the parasympathetic nervous system, your body's repair and restoration system. Heart rate stabilizes, cortisol drops, oxytocin is released, reducing systemic inflammation and lowering blood pressure. Dopamine and endorphins improve mood, cognitive clarity, and sleep architecture. Research on older men who maintain regular sexual activity consistently shows better sleep quality, stronger immune response, lower rates of depression, and higher overall well-being. This is not soft data. This is measurable, repeatable, published science. I had a patient 77 years old, a grandfather of 6, who described himself as fading. He said, I spent 30 years feeling guilty about something my body needed, then 10 more years wondering why I felt half dead. I wish someone had told me that taking care of yourself includes all of yourself. He is not fading anymore. The practical framework, 5 steps. Begin today. Step 1. Release the shame right now, not gradually. You were handed a lie as a child about your own body. You do not have to carry it one more day. Shame is not wisdom. It is old noise costing you your health. Step 2. Slow down and return to presence. Remove speed, pressure, and destination. This is about reconnecting with sensation, not performance, not outcome. Give yourself gentleness. Step 3. If online content has made natural sensation feel flat, step away for 4 to 6 weeks. Allow your brain's reward system to recalibrate. Most men are genuinely surprised by what returns. Step 4. Be consistent, not excessive. Keep your prostate healthy, your blood flow active, your nerve pathways responsive, and your hormonal signals alive. Whatever consistency looks like for your body, honor it. Step 5. Talk to your doctor. If you have prostate conditions, cardiovascular concerns, or medications affecting sexual function, your physician needs to be part of this. What I've shared is health education. Your doctor knows your specific situation. I want to speak to you directly now, doctor to patient. You are not too old. You are not past the point where your body matters, your health matters, your dignity, and your sense of aliveness matter. The men who come into my office feeling invisible, feeling like the best of themselves is behind them, they are not describing biology. They are describing the weight of information they were never given, conversations that were never had, a culture that told them to be silent about their own bodies and then left them to suffer the consequences of that silence. That is not your fault, and it is not your fate. Your body carried you here through everything. It is still working for you right now, still adapting, still responding, still capable of more than you've been told. The least you can do is meet it halfway. And listen closely, because this is the part almost no one will tell you. If your erections have become less reliable, do not just blame age, and do not just reach for another little blue pill that only masks the problem for an hour. There is a real, underlying cause behind erectile problems in older men, and once you understand it, everything changes. I've put a free 2-minute video right below this one in the description that reveals that true root cause, the thing your doctor rarely explains, and what actually starts to reverse it naturally. Go watch it right after this. It may be the most important 2 minutes you spend on your health this year. You don't have to disappear quietly. You are allowed to feel alive, fully, unapologetically, completely alive at 65, at 73, at 80, and beyond. If something in this video reached you today, if a door opened that has been shut for a long time, leave one word in the comments below. Just one word. Alive. Not a paragraph, not an explanation, just that word. So I know this found you. Because that is what this is really about. Not clinical information, not health statistics. Feeling alive in your body on your own terms at any age. Subscribe for more conversations like this one. Share this with a man in your life who needed to hear it and never did. Somewhere out there is a man who needed this video 5 years ago. You might be the reason it finds him. This is Dr. Christian Marvin reminding you of the truest thing I know after more than a decade of sitting with men about the hardest parts of their health. Your age does not determine your vitality, your awareness does. Your courage to take yourself seriously does. Your willingness to stop apologizing for having a body and start taking care of it, that does. The best chapter of your life is not the one you already lived. It's the one you're deciding to step into right now. Stay strong, stay present, and take care of yourself. All of yourself, and I'll see you in the next.